And we're going to take Hipcat from Tennessee. Hipcat thinks there is misogyny in religion and wants to know, why is it normal? Let's talk to Hipcat. You are on the line with Jimmy and Jamie. How's it going? Hi, Hipcat.
Hello? Hello?
Hey.
Yes, I dropped my phone. Hello?
Hey, thanks for joining us today. What's on your mind?
Yes. Lately, I've been really learning more about misogyny. And I mean, I've known about it for a long time. I just thought I'd dive into it. And I want to know why there is so much misogyny in all the religions, or most of them. And what is that about? Is that a natural thing? Because it's even hateful.
I don't have like
women.
So I don't have a whole lot of data on this, if you will. I did do my undergraduate. Yeah. I did my not my undergraduate. I did my master's thesis on the way that women contribute to economic development in certain countries, and you know, we found that the less amount of women. It really doesn't matter what we've found. The conclusion was that the smaller the female population in the workforce, the less economically developed the country was, right? So, and that was consistent with more orthodox countries. The thing that strikes me when it comes to religion and misogyny, however, is that the dominance of males over women creates more stability for religious institutions, okay? Because it keeps people in a family dynamic, if you will, and it concentrates the wealth of that family into the religious institution that family has adhered to. And so that would be my hypothesis on that. I think that if you had people, let's say men and women, or males and females, equally, well, men and women, equally pursuing professional and personal goals, that would make them less likely to start a family and less likely to donate their family income to a religious organization. And so when it comes to religion, exercising this belief that females belong in the kitchen, females are subservient to men, it kind of creates a sustainable family dynamic that the church or that the religious institution can become profitable from. And so I think in my research and in what I've come to learn about misogyny in general, I think that is the basis, although it is not a sweeping explanation for every single thing. There is certainly, every single situation. I think it's certainly much more nuanced than that, depending on what region of the world you come from. But generally speaking, you know, the subjugation of women is consistent with religion, and I think religion benefits from a family dynamic. And so that's what I have to say on that. To begin this call, Jamie, anything to add there?
Well, it's a chicken and egg situation, which came first,
sure.
Misogyny or the religion, and I think misogyny came first.
Well, what I wanted to know was, I just wanted to know why the history of it from way back would be not just, you know, it'd be hateful. Women can't, you know, it'd be really limiting to women. I just didn't understand the psychology of that way back when, and I understand what you were saying, but that's the thing. I'm just wondering, was it natural for men to be awful? Or I don't have friends like that, but, you know, in the tradition of religions from way back. And that's what I was wondering about. But anyway, please continue.
Well, I'm not an anthropologist. You really would want to talk to someone who has a professional knowledge. Is like, because the base question you're asking is, why does misogyny exist and why is it so pernicious? Because I believe that it came first and becomes prevalent in religion because, like many things, it is a method of control. Men have been realised they had the opportunistic advantage of generally higher physical strength, and the fact that when a woman is made pregnant, she is physically vulnerable and is dependent on other people for survival, and therefore becomes less of a person and more of an object in certain men's minds. And when you start that cycle of you're mine, you're my breeding thing, and I will dominate you, then you are a thing, and I must protect you. I must keep you away from the other things that are going to try and steal you from me and keep you in a little glass case. But of course, you're a thing, so you shouldn't chat back. You should do what you're told. You're not a person. You're a thing. And then it's very easy to, once you start dehumanizing people, to throw hatred on top of them as well. Like, you're just a thing. Why do you complain when I do these things to you? It is for the greater good. You know, your place is to be the vessel for my seed, etc. And religion just sees that and goes, man, that's a handy tactic to keep people in line and to grow our numbers. Let's use that, shall we? And it's just a natural progression from this predation that probably stems from some evolutionary need to protect our bloodlines and produce the species. And much like any things like evolutionary psychology might teach us, these are archaic and in modern day largely obsolete concepts that should be left behind, the same way that we left behind, you know, hunter-gatherer organizations or large-scale war. So yeah, I don't want to make any excuses for my gender's predation on women over the years, because it's not an excuse. There may be quote unquote reasons for it, but it ain't good.
I imagine sometimes, in some cases, women have not been that helpful and as well, and followed it and went, oh yes, the men know, and we have to follow them, and convince that way.
That's a product of being told that your entire life as a little girl, being
right.
told, and that's culturally pretty I don't want to make a sweeping statement, but it's almost ubiquitous in most cultures, especially the more orthodox the culture is. And to Jamie's point, the chicken or the egg point, there are a lot of people who believe that the roles of male dominance started in male-led hunting groups, and as religion developed, it kind of just took that relationship and capitalized on it. And so, I mean, there's another explanation. There are some experts that think that. I'm no expert, but in any case, when you're brainwashed, I mean, it's not just women in that case. There are people that are brainwashed their entire lives to believe certain things. It just so happens that all of them, or everybody that's subjugated by a certain dogma, often is indoctrinated with the idea that women have their role. That's what they like to say now. Women are still equal. Right. They just have a different role. But in most cases, the women are not expected to perform to the same level as the man. And yeah, I would say that I don't know where you were going with that. As far as I know, that some women haven't helped. It almost sounds like you're.
I know a few. I know. Oh, continue, please.
No, please say your thought.
Oh, I have a couple of friends in Florida, and I never discuss politics with them because I'm so different. And I like the common ground of being friends on other, things. But they're Trump supporters, a few of them, and they love these men who are misogynists. I think there was a book written, Why Men Hate Women and the Women That Love Them. Because it fits in that, I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I mean. Those particular women, I don't mean women, all women or women in general, just some of those women. I go, well, they're not helping, and, but I know there are matriarchal cultures, I guess, on necessity, because there's way more women than men, where the women will be in charge. I don't know how that relates to their religion, but that's where I was going with some women don't help, I imagine. But that's not a general statement for all women. Just I know a few who will support that.
I would say that they are as much.
Again.
I would say they're as much victims of this system as anyone else, and it's the same with the kinds of people who espouse other horrible isms due to their religious beliefs. Like, they're a victim too. They've been brainwashed into this. They weren't born that way. So it behooves those of us that go by evidence and by actual sort of fact rather than dogma and tradition to try and break these chains, and they're very, very difficult to break. I mean, these are ingrained things from before any of the major religions came out. But as I would say, there may be natural, quote unquote, reasons for it. But before anyone comes out and starts saying, well, if it's natural, it should happen, I'm saying, yeah, but so is cancer, and we fight that. So it doesn't matter if it's natural or not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's yes, exactly. That's a great point. But yeah, I've just been kind of obsessing on the nature of this. And again, you said I should talk to someone who's more of anthropology background, and I hope to come across someone like that. I would love to discuss this with someone like that on Talk Heathen, but I don't know who would have that background or which show.
Well, I believe there's a creator out there who goes by, I think the name's Erica, goes by Guts Gibbon. I think she might be an evolutionary anthropologist, but she might actually be an evolutionary biologist like Forrest Valkai. I'm not exactly sure. But these are the kinds of circles that you want to try and run in to try and get the actual real answer as to why does misogyny exist. As a base plane.
Right.
And then,
exactly.
And then, as I would say, once you've got a handle on that, then you'll understand why, as a system of control and subjugation, it's really useful for religions to incorporate.
Oh, that's, the psychology behind it. And I just kept wondering, is it a natural thing? Is it,
I don't think it's natural. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's natural as much as it's circumstantial. Like Jamie said,
right.
You have males that took advantage of the fact that they were physically stronger, and then women who were kind of rendered to child rearing because of their natural capability, their natural property of giving birth and providing milk, right? And so that. Pardon me?
Yeah. Survival of the species. We have to do it this way if we're going to survive, and that it makes sense. Yeah.
That dynamic doesn't mean that women even in our earliest stages of humanity, of our earliest stage of the species, were somehow unequal when it came to capability. We know that women hunted. We know that women participated in ritualistic roles. That there were cultures that were more matriarchal. But with the rise of cities and it's such a dichotomy, because with the rise of cities and like the codification of religion that came, they were able to kind of harp on this system where men were mostly in charge, right? But we go into the present day and we know that dynamic that existed for so long is not the way that it has to be. It actually, we benefit when women are participating in society more than when women are not participating in society. And so that's why I encourage people to challenge these so-called axioms that we're taught by religion, because they are challengeable, they are questionable, and there are other explanations. There are other explanations and other ways that society can be structured than the more archaic, more structural kind of dynamics of early human antiquity.
Yeah,
we've kind of talked a lot. We've talked a lot.
Growing more obsolete.
I think so, and I think the especially in this country, the fight between people who see the way things ought to be versus the people that see the way see things the way that they quote unquote should be, is taking into consideration how each views the role of women, and to kind of wider perspective, the role of minorities and other groups that have been subjugated by white male Christian dominance. So that's what we see at play in our own society now. The challenging not only of people who think gender roles are mythical or gender roles should be a certain way when in fact there isn't a thing of gender roles. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling a little bit because not going to lie, I'm focusing on making this drawing while I'm talking to you. So I'm like doing two things at once. But yeah,
I have a drawing I would love for you to make. It's of a raptor Jesus.
Raptor Jesus? I can do that, but we're going to need a super chat. I'm sorry. I got to hold you to the standard.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Well, this has been really good. Yeah. I just looking things from a very analytical point of view and just trying to find the only thing that bothers me, there's a lot of it, but just how come they would treat her so badly rather than put her up on a pedestal a little bit going, oh my God, I gave you my seed and you're creating, you can carry this baby and feed the baby and, I can donate the sperm. And why is it, just the history of the hatefulness of it, the anger, the that part of it too. So that's what I'm really trying to find out.
I think this is a bigger topic than we can cover in this one call. Do feel free to call back in and do look into, as I say, people who have training in anthropology in terms of their output. I'm a failed computer scientist, come social worker, and as I say, I think Jimmy might be a little bit better equipped, but but thank you for your
you give me something to think about. So okay, this was great. I can let you go then. That feels good.
Thank you so much for your call. We love the opportunity to talk about the hypocrisy of religion, the atrocities of religion, and just kind of get people to think about, well, why do I believe this thing? Especially women. It really is mind-boggling that women would adhere to something that says that they are not good enough.